Now we've combined our Jolly Phonics with the latest Stephen Graham methodology, where he recommends that you don't give children a reading book for the first 5 weeks, and that actually is really good with Jolly Phonics, because it means by the time the children are getting their first reading book, they already know the first 25 common sounds, so that they can generally use the first letter for a clue. So you can actually use that strategy. And what we do with our spelling, we still introduce a sight word a day. So for the first 3 or 4 weeks, we will introduce a sight word a day and reinforce that. So when we do our Jolly Phonics testing at the end of first term, we also test the first 30 sight words that they've been taught to see how they're going to go. And with the reading, everyone at Glenelg uses the on-track reading scheme for children who first start school. This is a scheme that's kept as a separate scheme. We use these as a main teaching tool. We teach several of the first strategies, things like using the picture for a clue, looking at the first letter, and we actually use these books for lots of activities. We read them lots of times with the children, so that when they eventually take these home, they're really confident and successful. And we also have quite a lot of follow-up worksheets that go directly with those books that you can use to support the strategies that you've been teaching with that. And that again is about that layering, because it uses the sight words that you've been teaching, the sounds that you've been teaching, and the children, we find, for most children, they can go straight to level 3 once they've finished all 4 the first 4 stages of that book. Just trying to think. One of the things that we found using Jolly Phonics is that the children are not really ready to go straight to the level 1 spelling and grammar book, and so we decided that we would develop our own spelling program for the terms after they finish Jolly Phonics, before they go into year 1. And this looks at digraphs, it looks at word families, and we concentrate a lot orally and some written on things like consonant blends, because consonant blends can be a thing that really tricks the children. So we've developed a spelling program that runs very similarly to Jolly Phonics in format, but instead of having 1 a day, it's 1 a week, and it's got spelling and dictation, because the part of the brain that learns words in lists is the opposite side of the brain to the one, that was terrible English, that uses them in sentences. So we've tried to incorporate both right from the beginning. The children still cut out this part to take it home and practice at home with their family, and we also incorporate an art activity with this, and that's probably something that I didn't mention before. When we're doing our Jolly Phonics, we try and incorporate an art activity that matches the letter that we're doing. So if you're doing S, you might make a snake or a caterpillar or something, so that there's that, again, that layering and that support for it. There are also lots and lots of resources on the computer, and IWBs and smartboards have a lot of support materials for Jolly Phonics. As a school, we're trying to use the colour code that Jolly Phonics recommend for the parts of speech, so that we talk about nouns, pronouns, verbs, adjectives and adverbs, and we colour code them according to the Jolly Phonics colours. And that's really just to support children who do find it difficult, because if the colours are started in reception and followed right through, then that's really helpful for them. We also have a thing called the automaticity of the alphabet testing, and we've made booklets up for that. And evidence shows that children who don't have automatic recall of the alphabet are the children who struggle to write and read, because they don't look at words in a book and know what the letters are going to say. And if they know what they want to write and can't automatically think of the letters, then they're going to struggle as well. So Every week we try and have 3 practices of writing the alphabet in 1 minute in lower and uppercase as many times as we can, and then on the 4th time that you do it in the week we give them the yellow sheet that doesn't have the alphabet at the top, so there's not that scaffolding. So this is the opportunity to see progress. To continue the idea of the singing to learn things, we actually use the thras tape for teaching the names of the letters of the alphabet. And we start that almost straight away after we've taught the Jolly Phonics. Now if you use this volume,
point with your finger and do a little tap. A, B, A, B, C, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. A, B, A, B, C, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. H, I, H, I, J, H, I, J, K, L, M, N. H, I, H, I, J, H, I, J, K, L, M, N.
At the end of the Jolly Phonics tape, they actually start teaching the vowels. So we use these, and every child can have their own copy of this, which they use to show the vowels and then to go on learning the names of the alphabet. Once they've done 2 or 3 weeks of doing the alphabet with its names, we then start doing the automaticity so that they sort of merge together and are supportive of each other. I know some of the classes here go on and do thras for their spelling, and we feel that this, because it works on all the sounds that are in the English language, actually underpins thras really well. But even if you don't do thras, this is a really good program to use because it does go through all the sounds that the children use. As I said, I'm very rigorous with it, and I may say to a child, oh, could you please put this in the b-i-n, so that you're using it all the time, and probably to the point where the children think, oh, but they don't really, they love it.